Welcome back to the Circuit Revival. Today we're having a look at this tablet. It was given to me by a friend who said that their children knocked it off the sofa and it now won't turn on. So we'll just test that. It's got a power button here, so if we hold that down we get nothing. Single press, nothing. So it looks like it's USB-C. Got a USB-C port here. So what I've got here is a power bank with a little device in it which will show any current drawn. So if we come in just a little bit so you can see that. What I'll do is I'll plug that in and test, see whether it's pulling a charge just in case the battery's dead. So if we plug this in, we should see something in this red section here, which we have nothing. So it's both not turning on and not drawing any power. So we'll take it apart and have a look. What you probably should do at points like this is often worth giving the actual USB port a check first before you do that, just in case it's damaged, because you don't want to cause any more damaged things. But let's try and get this out and see if we can get this working. See if we can get through this case. So that just pings off. And we reach the back. So it's a bit dirty. I can't see any screws or anything, so it looks like it just prizes up. Now what I can see is this edge is already lifted up slightly, so I don't know whether they've tried to open it up before or whether it's just pinged open slightly where it's been dropped. What I'll do is I'll get just a black spludger here. We'll just try and see if we can pry this up. See if we can hear any clips. Yeah, okay, so it sounds to me like it is just clipped on, and that is coming up quite easily. So we'll start off with just having a little visual look around the board and see if there's anything that stands out to us. So as is always the case, please don't copy what I do in my videos. I'm no expert on any of this. I'm never touched one of these before. I don't even know what this is, but I think I may have found our culprit here. So I'll just pull the microscope round. Should hopefully make it a bit easier to see. So where they've dropped it, it looks like they've knocked the positive lead for the battery off. So should hopefully be nice and easy. That just needs soldering back on. What I might do is give the other solder joints a touch up as well, because that black lead looks like it's barely holding on as well. Take a look at this. It looks like it should probably just connect to this pad here, but we'll just clean it up slightly and have a look around just in case. So all I put on here is just some isopropyl alcohol, which will just help us clean up some of this factory flux and hopefully see the board a bit better. Because it looks like these two on the side here, just these 2 points here, are on the same pad, but just double check that with the multimeter. We go into continuity, which is the mode that beeps when we have a complete circuit. If we touch this point here and this point here, yeah, so they're on the same point, they're on the same track, but here's just a bigger point solder onto. So I think we'll just connect onto that. Yep, so I just turn my iron on. I'll put a tiny bit of flux on this board, and then we'll just touch up those other solder points there. So the flux we put down there will just help the solder flow. We'll start with this black lead, hopefully. Let's get this out from underneath. Okay, it's not the cleanest end, but it's not too bad. Okay, just don't know, I might need to turn my iron up a touch. It's just struggling a bit. I see, there's just a lot of the excess of this cable stuck in there, that's why. There we go, that looks a lot better. See if we can get this back on. And what I will try and see if I can sort that end out because it's not looking too great. So I'm just going to strip away some of this sheath slightly. Going to do a bit more because this cable does not seem very good. Okay, that looks a bit better. Just going to twist this round. Cut those little end bits off that are slightly longer. And I'm just going to tin this up to begin with, so I'm just going to add a bit of solder to my iron and then add it to the actual wire here. Hopefully that should help it stay together a bit rather than separating out. There we go, and I think I'm just going to chop it down a touch more just so it's not too big for the pad. Let's try add that back in place. Okay, just give that a test. Definitely feels a lot stronger. This white one in the middle seems like it might be alright. Let's just get this red one stripped down a bit more and ready to solder on. Okay, so I'll do the same with that. I'll just twist it up a bit. I'll add just a tiny bit of solder to the actual wire. That should hopefully help it connect a bit. Just clean up this solder pad here. And then we will connect this in place. Okay, that feels a lot more secure. We'll just clean it up. So again, just a cotton swab and some isopropyl alcohol here to clean this up. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some UV mask onto this to help strengthen those connections, so hopefully it doesn't come off again. It'll also fix any issues with this wire so that we know it's definitely not touching the other one. So I've got here some solder mask. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a tiny bit over all of that. It will help secure it in place as well as protecting any of those circuits from touching each other. So you only need a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of this. So I'm just going to try and get a tiny amount on the board. sure that's probably more than enough. And I'm just going to use my tweezers just to spread it around and make sure it's exactly where I want it. I should probably use my ceramic tweezers for this just because the battery is now plugged in. There we go. And then I've got this device here, which is a UV light, which I'm just going to put over the top of this, and that's going to cure it. So I'm just going to leave that on top for now, and I'll let that do its thing. And then hopefully once it's done, it should be nice and hard. Whilst that's curing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some Captain tape, and I'm going to try and tape this battery down a bit because it's floating all over the place. Hopefully stop it from detaching anymore. And there we go, that battery's now not moving around at all. So that's been on there for a little while. We'll just double check, see whether this is cured yet. So I do that just by giving it a tap. So it looks like it's close. I'll leave it on just a little bit longer just to make sure it's fully cured. So that's now a lot stronger and is protected. I think I might just add a tiny bit of Captain tape over the top just to fully ensure it doesn't come off again. Because if they've knocked this once, there's a strong chance they could knock it again. Okay, that should hopefully hold it in place a bit. So what I'll do is I'll just get the back cover back on this and then we'll test it out. So we'll line it up with the camera and then hopefully it should just press it on. Okay, that's all pressed on. Let's see if this turns on. Hey, there we go. And we're on. So nice simple one this, just a loose wire. And we'll just double check it still charges. So I've got the ammeter here, plug that in, and there we go. It's drawing 0.45 amps there, so 450 milliamps I believe. Let's see if just this fully boots up, because we're just on a loading screen at the moment. Okay, still just on an Asus screen. Now, I obviously don't know anything about this, I don't know how it normally turns on, but given that the battery was completely... tablet is starting. Amazing. So another easy fix there, and that's all done. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next one.